Welcome back to True Crime with Christina. Before we begin, I need to give you a serious warning. Tonight's episode is not just graphic, it is pure evil. What you are about to hear includes extreme torture, sexual violence, brutal killings, and real human suffering. If you are sensitive to violence or graphic descriptions, please turn back now. But if you stay, get ready. Because tonight, I'm taking you inside the mind of a man who built a torture chamber with his own two hands. He treated life like trash. This is the story of David Parker Ray, the toy box killer. Buckle up. Who was David? He was born on November 6, 1939, in Belen, New Mexico. It is a small, dead town in the middle of the desert. Nothing grows there except dust, heat, and monsters. So let's talk about his family. David's father, Cecil Ray, was a violent drunk. He would disappear for months and then show up just to hand David hardcore sadistic porn magazines. In those, you could see photos of women tied up, beaten, tortured. David was only 10 years old when his father taught him that pain was pleasure. His mother, Needy Ray, was a cold, tired, and broken woman. She never hugged him. She did not protect him. One day, she packed up all their stuff to him and his little sister and brought them to their grandparents' house. They were strict religious maniacs. In their household, love was non existent. No laughing, no family dinners. Only silence, rules, and punishments. At school, David was a ghost. He was really skinny, shy. He was stuttering so bad that all the kids laughed at him all the time. While other boys dream of playing soccer, baseball, basketball, and having girlfriends, David dreamed of chains, whips, and control. He spent hours alone drawing pictures of women tied to beds, hanging from ceilings, screaming for help. He didn't dream of saving those women or being a hero. He dreamed of being a god of torture. After school, David drifted through life like a shadow. He worked as a mechanic. He also served a little bit of time in the army. He got married 4 times, and every single time the wife left him fast. In one of those marriages, he had a daughter, Glenda Jessie Ray, who would later on help him hunt women. In public, David looked like a normal person. He was quiet, polite. He was always working on fixing a bike or a car. Nobody looked at him twice, and nobody saw the devil hidden behind the smile. Inside his mind, he was building something sick, something big. When he moved to Elephant Butte, New Mexico, the nightmare became real. David spent years building his dream. In the desert heat, behind his house, he put together a 20-foot white trailer. He called it the toy box. But it wasn't a toy for nobody else except him. And now I'm about to talk about what was inside of the trailer. It's a little bit graphic, So if you don't want to hear it, please fast forward by a minute or two. Inside that trailer, he made hell on earth. You could find a doctor chair bolted to the floor, many heavy chains to hang people from the ceiling. You could also see pulleys to stretch arms and legs until they snapped. He also had shock devices that he wired to nipples and genitals. He had a table full of surgical knives, and this is the way that he was cutting into the skin slowly. He even installed a mirror on the ceiling so his victim could watch themselves bleed to death. He made his own rape devices, which was metal tools, bent pipes, cattle prods, sharpened at the tip. There were no windows, no escape, no way out. And on the wall, he hung a sign that said, Satan's Den. David spent over $100,000 turning that trailer into a living slaughterhouse. But what is the most crazy in his story is that David did not work alone. He trained his girlfriend, Cindy Hindi, and even sometimes his own daughter to help him kidnap women. They didn't pick up just anybody. They hunted the ones nobody would search for. For example, sex workers, hitchhikers, runaways. So what they would do is offer them rides or fake a police badge or pretend to need help. Once the women were trapped inside David's truck, it was over. He would pull a gun, chain them up, blindfold them, and then they would wake up in the trailer. They were stripped, chained to the chair, and gagged. The first thing they would hear wouldn't be their own screaming. It was David's cold voice playing from a tape he recorded. It would say, You are no longer a human being. You are now my property. You will be kept here. You will be used. You will scream and it won't matter. And then the real nightmare started. Inside that trailer, David did things that even horror movies don't dare showing. I am about to talk about a little bit of what he was doing, so if you don't want to hear it, please fast forward. He shocked women's genitals until they pass out from pain. He whipped them until their skin split open. He forced them to have sex with his dog while he was filming it. He cut into their flesh really slowly, keeping them alive to feel every second. He raped them with homemade devices like thick pipes, sharp tools, beer bottles. He also gagged them so tight that their lips were bleeding. Sometimes he would sew their private parts shut just to cut them open again later on. He kept his victims blindfolded for days, tied so tight that their skin turned purple. He didn't just torture their bodies, he tortured their minds, making them beg for death, but then refusing to kill them. The worst part? After he finished, if they were still alive, he would drug them. They forgot what happened, then dump them naked in the middle of nowhere. Some women were too broken to remember, but some remembered. But when they went to the cops, no one believed them. Many of them never made it out. The FBI believes that he killed over 60 women, but he never showed the police where the bodies were hidden. Was it in Elephant Butte Lake, in the desert? Nobody knows. On March 22nd, 1999, David made a mistake. He captured Cynthia Vigil, a 20-year-old sex worker. She was drugged, chained, and tortured, same as the others, but Cynthia fought harder. When he forgot to lock one of her chains, she grabbed a key off the table, unlocked herself, and stabbed him with an ice pick. She ran, naked, bleeding, still wearing a metal dog collar around her neck, screaming down the dirt road. She banged on doors until someone let her in and called the police. When cops stormed David's house, what they found made grown men throw up: the toy box. This is what they saw: blood stains, torture devices, tapes of real women being raped and screaming for their lives, drawings everywhere, diaries describing everything he did. David had been hunting, torturing, and killing women for at least 2 decades. And the worst part about that is nobody had noticed. So David Parker Ray was arrested. He faced dozens of charges. But before he could rot in prison, he died of a heart attack in 2002, right before his full trial. The coward died free. His girlfriend, Cindy Hendy, served 19 years. She's walking the streets today as we speak. David's daughter, Jessie, only served a few years. And all the women that he tortured, many are still missing. Their bodies are still lost. David Parker Ray took his secrets and his victims to the grave. He didn't just kill women, he stole their souls, ripped their minds apart, and laughed while they died. He didn't just hurt bodies, he broke spirits. He built a hell no one ever escaped from whole. Thank you for listening to True Crime with Christina. Until next time, stay alert, stay alive, and always remember, the devil doesn't wear horns all the time.